So if you're going to do some tactical military swimming, you're going to have to learn how to swim underwater effectively. That's why we're doing this video, to teach you how to do just that. Now, as you go through these steps, this video will teach you step by step how to maximize your efficiency and effectiveness in swimming underwater. But when we're doing this, you need to make sure someone is watching you, because we don't want to have to worry about shallow water blackout or you holding your breath too long and nobody being there to find you. So be careful with that. This will teach you the steps you need to perfect this underwater stroke, to swim longer, faster, and easier, so it's not so hard to make it through the evolutions that you're going to have to go through. The first part of learning how to do great underwater swimming is having a perfect push-off. I'm not saying mine is perfect, but we want to maximize the distance that you can push off the wall without kicking, just staying in a streamlined position, pressing on your buoy area, your chest area of your lungs, and seeing how far that you can go out. So we're going to look again. There's no kicking, no pulling. I'm going to streamline. Ideally, if you have the flexibility, those arms should squeeze the ears or just behind the ears. Perfect streamlined position, and maximize how far you can go. This is going to teach you how deep you need to be in pushing off the wall. Experiment with the angle you're pushing off the wall. What can get you the furthest and what your body's going to do. And if you're not completely balanced, you're going to roll over like that. So we're going to try it again, pushing off the wall, real smooth line, and maximizing our distance. And try to hold your air. Look, I'm not breathing out right here. You're holding your air, using that air in your lungs to press on that chest area to try to keep your hips up as long as you can without needing to kick. And even though I'm not kicking at all, I'm still making some progress here. Try to stay there as long as you can while you're making progress. I even suspect this pool might have a little bit of a current because I keep going. And change the sides you're pushing off on. Go some off the right arm, off the left arm. Really work on maximizing that distance and being able to stay balanced and on line, going in the direction you want to go. Get really tight with that streamline. Extend those arms and point them in the direction you want to go. You can do this drill over and over again. Here we go again. Pushing off, except now we're going to add a little flutter kick. Make sure we can do a nice flutter kick. Keep pressing and keeping long. Getting used to holding that air, going in the direction you want to go. Again, we're going under. As soon as we start to slow down off of that push off, we're going to start kicking. Notice this is a bad example because to come up, I'm lifting the head, and that is not how we want to come up off the push off. Here we're going to kick, and we're going to notice the fingertips are what's going to help me come up. Point the fingertips up just a little bit, and if I need to come up, that's what I'm going to use to get me to the surface, not lifting that head. Okay, let's look at the fingertips again. I'm going to go down a little bit with them, and then I'm going to level out a little bit, and then we're going to get those fingertips back down, but I'm going to come up with them right here. So play around with those fingertips because they can help navigate our depth. We're going to start to add in the butterfly kick to the push-off, so we want to learn how to do it. And so the key is on the butterfly kick, we want to have minimal knee bend, and even though I'm undulating the body, I don't want to have the head going back and forth at the top like this, because I go in the direction my head and hands are pointed. If my head keeps swinging up and down, I'm going to have a longer distance to travel when swimming underwater. So I want to minimize the amount the head's moving, even though I'm undulating the body a little bit and using that butterfly kick to kick up and down. We have a pretty efficient butterfly kick when the power on the down sweep equals that of the back sweep, and we know that that power is equal if I can stay in one place. If you can close your eyes even and do the butterfly kick and not travel forwards or backwards, we know that we're pretty balanced with our kicking. So we don't want to undulate like that, too large of an amplitude. What we want to do is have a frequency high and the amplitude small. Here we're going to see a little bit of butterfly. This is not what we want to do, is having too big and wide of kicks above and letting that head go back and forth. We want to tighten it up And we don't want to have too much knee bend like that either. I'm kicking too much from the knee and the quads. What I want to do is get the largest muscles we can involved, including a little bit of body undulation, again, while trying to keep that head as still as possible above the water there. We're going to kick off and start to use that butterfly kick, and start off just with 3, 4, 5 kicks and come up to the surface and get used to trying to understand how deep you are. Coming again here, I'm going to add a little bit more butterfly kicks, regulating my depth, pressing down a little bit, and you can do sets of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 kicks, up to 10, 12 kicks, really hard. Good way to get those legs in shape. Experiment with that butterfly kick. Notice those fingers aren't going up and down a lot. The body's undulating a little bit, but we want to travel straight. So those hands should be pointed in the direction you want to go. A good idea is to use training fins. So putting on a short pair of Burners by Tyr, and this will enable us to travel further, have a little bit more speed, and it helps me get in a better body position underneath the water so I know how to streamline better. So again, adding fins to see how the body's undulating. Now there I was undulating the upper body too much, and then I come back and be real straight with that upper body and it's pointing in the direction I want to go with the hands. Okay, and you can put on some big fins, some surface fins, even going faster, able to travel further and really get that body position as where we want to be traveling underneath the water, and a good way to get those legs in shape, really kicking hard underwater there. Let's see it again with the big fins and using those hands a little bit to go deeper. Going to go out of the screen a little, going deep, and then I'm going to come back up. When I'm going faster like that, just a little bit of pitch with those hands is going to help me steer the boat, just like if I'm going faster in a surface vessel. So if you know how to do the butterfly or dolphin kick efficiently, that's a pretty efficient kick. But a lot of people prefer the breaststroke kick when we're swimming underwater. So what you want to look for from the side here is that the angle with the knees coming up doesn't slow you down. So you don't want those knees coming up too high, and you want to keep it behind you. So you don't want to be kicking with those knees up like that, because when you're swimming underwater, that's like putting out the water brakes right there. We want to get them behind us, the feet are coming up. Want those feet up together, the toes point out, and you're going to squeeze them together the best you can at the bottom. So here's a look from the front. Trying to keep that angle between the upper and lower body pretty straight and not bring the legs up like this. So just check yourself on doing that, and those legs will come up and feet behind the butt. Almost hit your butt, feet go out and back together. Look at it from this angle right here. Now a lot of people have a lot more flexibility than I do in my feet turning out, so that's something to work on. So now we're going to work on, just like we did with the butterfly, we're going to work on breaststroke kicks underwater. And 2, 3, 4 to start with, and we're going to try to extend how far we're kicking underwater with those breaststroke kicks. Up the number of breaststroke kicks I'm going to use. Pointing in the direction you want to go, you can kind of see I'm pointed a little down because in order to go straight, if I got air in my lungs, that's kind of what you got to do. And when you come up, you release the buoy a little bit, pressure on your chest, and it'll bring you up with the hands pointed up a little bit. Okay, now we're going to start to add the pull in the stroke, but a great drill I love to do is the butterfly bob. So it starts to coordinate the butterfly kick and when I'm going to pull and explode those arms out the back. So in effect, the underwater swimming pull is the butterfly pull, really wide, grabbing a lot of water and exploding out of the water. And you can tell you can get better at this the more you coordinate the undulation of your body with the arm pull. So as I pull, I want to start kicking and making sure I'm kicking right at the end of the pull there. And that's going to help me pull the mass of water through if I can coordinate this right and explode. As I'm finishing with that hand, you should see that butterfly kick kicking down. So I'm coming up, and at the very end, you're going to see the finish of the pull and that butterfly kick. So you know you're doing better with this if you can explode more and more out of the water. Also, if you can go straight up and down, you know your body's in a good body position. If you have a hard time going straight up and down in the water and you seem to go sideways or not be able to get it, you know you've got some balancing acts to work on, and you can do better at that. So you can work on the breaststroke while doing butterfly bobs as well. So if you like the breaststroke kick, it's a good underwater kick. We kick and kind of get used to getting that breaststroke kick so it doesn't slow us down. A little power underneath, get used to using that in your butterfly bobs. So the first thing we're going to do to set us up into swimming the full stroke is just push off, get some butterfly kicks in, and then that full pull underneath to get used to doing that big pull that we were doing on the butterfly bobs. And do these, just worrying about that number one full pull to make sure the body's in alignment, getting us going straight, got the air in our lungs, and using that to keep us straight. Okay, nice push off again, get used to those butterfly kicks, and a big pull all the way down. Try to maximize how far we're going just with that first big pull. Okay, then we're going to go into the full stroke a little bit more. And the key here is getting into a cadence. How many kicks to how many pull? And it depends on how good your kick is and how good your pull is and what kind of oxygen we're going to be burning. If you kick your legs too hard, you're going to burn out quick. And if your upper body's going too quick, you're going to burn out. So it's got to be a good cadence that you find. So this time we're going to count how many kicks to a pull, and I may change it up. So big pull, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. So I'm on a 3 cadence underwater swimming right here. And so you can go every 3 cadence, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, let's look at the 3 count again. I'm going to start off with a big pull, holding that air. Head is not going up and down a lot. And we're going to get full extension, big pull, 1, 2, 3 to the front, 1, 2, 3 to the front, big pull, nice and relaxed, conserving that oxygen all the way to the other side. Now this is showing you the importance of head position. If my head's going to pop up like that, that is not the streamlined position I want to have. Even if I'm pulling the arms all the way through and putting out the brakes. And then if I start to go really little pulls in the front, not pulling all the way down with the head up, then I'm doing really bad and inefficient underwater swimming. Technique matters, keep the head down. Let's change up the tempo. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm adding a little extra kick in the front. If you want to slow down the arms a little bit, practice on that and really decide what cadence you like the best, how you're traveling underwater the best. Okay, let's take a look at another cadence here. So I'm always doing 2 or 3 kicks, butterfly kicks at the beginning, no matter what cadence I'm using. But here we go, 1, 2, 3. I'm going back to 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. Notice underneath, I'm really hugging the body with those hands and sneak them up to the front so I'm not creating a lot of drag getting it up. Okay, we'll take one more take here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I'm in a nice 4 cadence, just getting comfortable, letting the body almost swim itself underneath. Now you can go up to a 4 or even 5, 6 count. 7's getting a little high, too much kicking, but experiment with that a little bit. When you're doing this underwater swimming, you want to make sure you're deep enough. So this is an example, I'm going just too shallow and I'm fighting trying to get under, and you're not going to be able to travel that far, so we got to get a little deeper than that example. So this is an example of going too deep. The shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. If I'm going too deep, I'm going to be traveling a little bit further, unless they want you to go deep like this. Sometimes in military training, they want you to go to the bottom and come up, but if you don't have to, we want to optimize our depth, and that's a little too deep. Okay, this depth is about right. We got a lot of room on top of us, got some room below us too, in case we make any mistakes. You can regulate that depth by the air in your lungs, how much you're pressing on that buoy, which is your lung area, and also where your hands are going, pointing straight in front or coming up with it. So look, this is an example of letting too much air out. I want to hold that air in the lungs because I need it for my buoyancy, but I also need it to be able to get to the other side of the pool without running out of oxygen. So that is not a good example. So what we want to do is be holding our air. Proper angle of attack is just the head pointing just a little bit down, because most of the buoyancy is in my lung area. That's going to have a tendency to want to push me up. So I've got to angle just a little bit down if I want to travel straight when I'm swimming underwater. Okay, proper tempo. Everything's kind of got to be coordinated together with the kick, the pull, the recovery. Right here, I'm waiting way too long between arm pulls and just kicking way too much, and I'm not going to be able to maximize the distance I can swim underwater. Okay, I want to get into a tempo. This tempo is too quick with the arms, and I'm not getting a very good undulation of the kick, and I'm all discombobulated. This is definitely not the way we want to be, and I'm going to be burning a lot of oxygen and not traveling very far. We want to minimize our O2 burn, maximize our speed and distance. So I really want to get into a nice rhythm. The more rhythmic and smooth it looks underwater, the better off you're going to be. Work on being smooth and solid, get into a rhythm that you like. I prefer 3 or 4 count underwater swimming. So instead of just a butterfly kick, we're going to put a little breaststroke kick in here. Now, even though I don't have the greatest breaststroke kick, it is a pretty efficient underwater kick. So I definitely recommend you experiment with it. Just because I'm doing breaststroke doesn't mean I won't throw a little butterfly kicks in there, because I think it helps me maintain my momentum and doesn't burn a lot more oxygen. But I like this underwater stroke. Let's look at the breaststroke again. Now, you can do the breaststroke without many butterfly kicks and really just swim across the pool, leaving those legs relaxed. If you don't have a good butterfly kick and you're using too much oxygen, expending too much energy with that butterfly kick, just relax them and go ahead, and you'll be amazed at how much oxygen you don't burn if you can just use a real efficient breaststroke kick and not even worry about that butterfly kick. So we got to have the timing of the breaststroke kick coordinated well with the hands on the recovery. If I kick before my hands are in front of my head, it's like putting out propulsion and the air brakes at the same time. So I need to pull and get those hands in front of the head first, then kick. So here we go, underwater, big pull, incorporating that breaststroke kick in. After the hands get in front of the head, I'm bringing the legs up when I'm recovering, but I don't kick until the hands are in front of my head. The hands up there, so I'm not wasting any power on that breaststroke kick getting me going forward. Nice and relaxed, you can stay under there all day, but again, don't do this without somebody watching you. So if you're doing some underwater swimming in the military, holding your breath, and then trying to recover, coming back freestyle. Now, I'm going pretty deep here, probably too deep, and so I'm coming up a little bit. When I get in a deep pool, it's kind of fun to go a little deep, but that's not the best way to go. So we come up, touch the wall, and I'm going to come back freestyle. So learning how to do a nice, comfortable freestyle, we'll do a video on that at some point, but we don't want to burn any oxygen. Don't want to see any bubbles underneath the water. I want to use my lungs, the buoy area of your lungs, keep the body up, don't need a strong kick. And here I'm not burning any oxygen. What I'm doing is recovering, getting that oxygen back, so I'm ready to go right away without any break, right next to the underwater 25-yard swim. So again, get into a rhythm that you're comfortable with, get that angle down that you need to have in order to go straight, and nice and relaxed underwater. Don't burn a lot of oxygen. Be ready to come up when you know you need to. Touch the wall, and I'm coming back. Nice and easy freestyle, and basically reloading the oxygen so I'm ready to go. Notice how relaxed the legs are, because we definitely don't want to be kicking the legs. They can burn 80% or more of our oxygen and not give us a lot of propulsion, especially when I don't have fins on. So why am I going to kick them? I want to relax them and get that oxygen back, replenish, the stores, and be ready to go again. Okay, we're going to do the same thing, except I'm going to add in a little breaststroke kick. And again, my breaststroke kick isn't the greatest, but I can actually travel a little further underwater by implementing a little bit of a breaststroke kick in there and adding in the dolphin together. So this is something to work on. Get the cadence down that you want, 3, 4, 5 count underwater recovery stroke, and then come back, freestyle, try to replenish those oxygen stores. Again, look at how easy we want to be. Let the body swim. The arms and legs are relaxed, rotating on axis, and the heart rate should be down, oxygen replenished by the time we get to the other side. So you should work on this so you can build up 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 50s with it not being any harder. It will be a little harder from the first 25 underwater and freestyle back, but it shouldn't get any harder after the second or third 25 underwater. You should be able to get those oxygen stores back up and just practice on continuously doing this. Okay, again, we go back to the freestyle. Relaxing those legs, not letting the hips drag too much. I'm not kicking to keep my hips up. I'm pressing on the lung area of the body, and I'm going kind of slow here because I want to give myself time to replenish that oxygen, get the heart rate down, to make sure I'm not going to be burning any oxygen. Touching the wall and immediately coming back. Here we go. Nice and easy butterfly kick and bleeding out a little bit of that speed. If I slow down too much and wait to recover, then I've waited too long. So as soon as we start to slow down, I want to start bringing the hands up, recovering, and then kicking with that breaststroke as soon as the hands get in front of the head. Touching the wall, immediately going back into a freestyle. Let's watch this freestyle one more time. We want to make it nice and relaxed. Now, definitely you can tell I'm not going hard or fast. I'd be putting a lot more pressure underneath the water and using a lot of arm muscles and kicking a little harder. So we just want to relax and get into this state. So each of these skills and drills in this underwater swimming video are really important to master. We want to start off by just learning how to push off the wall streamlined. We want to be able to get further and further with that. We want to be able to kick the legs hard and get them in shape underwater, first freestyle. Learning how to do an efficient butterfly kick. Learning how to do a great breaststroke kick. Knowing how to do the butterfly bobs with the big pulls. And then implementing that into a full stroke underwater stroke. And getting what's most comfortable for you on your timing. Are you a 3, 4, 5 count type underwater stroke swimmer? Do you want to incorporate some butterfly and breaststroke, or just stick to butterfly or breaststroke? And not just how you feel, but put it on the clock and then learn how to do it easier and easier. Remember, it is technique first at all costs, even if it's harder for you, and then everything else will come that will get easier. You'll burn less oxygen, you'll get faster underwater, and you'll be able to do this longer and longer. So practice, and good luck with what you're doing.